That's NEX, capital G N E.
Yeah, two X's. NXX.
Okay, NEX.
I can get the shoe box. I'm gonna sit it up a little bit.
Capital G.
Yeah.
One word, right?
Yeah, just the
Next G.
next gen is one word. And then once you get the next gen is
And beyond.
and beyond.
Okay.
What that sign?
Huh? What that sign?
Yeah.
Well, they already got a 2-minute video with some steak too.
Yeah, that means I know I was a butcher.
Push it. Oh, check you out.
Check you out.
Yeah, whole bunch of them. That's Mike. Lower, Ashley, low enough.
Them guys all about to go together. What's Spurt at?
It's over there. Yeah, you got to give it June Paul over there too.
Cutting all that fat off that meat.
Mm-hmm.
All I basically eat is turkey, fish, and chicken.
What's Spurt real name? Oh man, I seen you go.
I get it. Don't
Let's see, his name Cole.
Yeah, I probably got it.
I see Frank Cole.
JR. I don't think JR over there, bro. I think
That's
he's
Spurt.
Spurt. I don't think
His
Spurt
last
over
name
there.
Smith.
Yeah, it ain't over there. Start yet.
Oh man.
If you start, go ahead.
I ain't been. They give everybody a chance to get over there.
Yeah, get a chance, you know.
Yeah, everybody probably got LLC.
Yeah.
Do. Here we go, y'all.
You gonna be the host, son?
Now you can give me my phone. You can host. I can record.
Okay.
I forgot you got all these devices because I'm on YouTube or whatever. So. Live over there.
Sid. Hello. Hello. I sent you the Zoom link to your text already. Yeah, I already sent it to you. Yeah, we is on there now. So I'm gonna send you the other link. So that way you can go ahead and click on it.
bad.
Yeah, cause he just turned it on now. So
My bad. No, you got it. It's all right there. It's all right there. Oh, I kicked out mine.
yeah, you gotta cut yours on. Everybody going to yours.
Oh man.
Yeah, they going to yours.
No wonder they said way out to the line.
Right. Well, the link. Yeah, Zoom link.
All right.
Family. Family. Glad you guys can make it. I'm glad we got everything in order. Today, we will be discussing
Code. That's how you operate through the IRS. These are the IRS codes.
Big bro.
You know what I'm saying? They keep you up under the money. Yeah, that's
Okay, but we here now, bro.
I be having magnified, man.
Okay, all right.
As soon as they say I had outline, so I can know what five, like finance, funding, distribution. You know what I'm saying? But we gotta, when I go through this, we got a host of, you know what I'm saying, events you can hold. This is the outline of, you know what I'm saying? This is the whole outline.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
You got one right there, so you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm ready to get popping with this
Okay.
and that dance game thing.
Bro, when I get about
With my
midway,
brothers would have showed up.
when I get about midway, you know what I'm saying, we always do a commercial.
I'll do a commercial.
Yes, you know what I'm saying, we always, so we get full enough into a topic, because you know what I'm saying, 15 minutes, people kind of
Go to sleep. Family. We are live here, and we are bringing awareness to the public of a way to learn how government works. We, the people, demand equal justice here in Georgia, man. We have to stay unified, supporting each other, and understanding the knowledge that we need to do here. So this is one of the main reasons why we are here today. So we are going live to allow you guys to get a chance to see the people that are present. We do have a young brother here today, and he are here to allow us to get a chance to go through documents of how to improve your living condition and your community at the same time. So what I would like to do is introduce to the table. Oh, here we go. Introduce him to the table, as well as my brother Dale William Pope, man. And we are here today to go through some documents together so that we could establish a way to secure our community as well as our family. So, Mr. Hawkins, if you won't mind, can you please go ahead and take the floor from here, man?
Well, thank you. Next Gen and Beyond LLC and Next Gen and Beyond INC. We have built a platform on 6 pillars. And those 6 pillars, we carry a 501c3, which is a tax exempt document. And it's the document that requirement of not paying any income tax going or coming when you filing throughout the year, everything that you buy. We are allowed by the IRS to collect donations by IRC section 170, which allow you to have a gift and that person receives a deduction. So it works on both ends. And we're going to get into why the stores do it in a second. We are a social organization, private fundraising. So that means we came up with Next Gen and Beyond through private raising of funds and our own intelligence and studying. And this is one of the requirements when it comes to taking donations. A nonprofit organization is not just give. It has to be orchestrated in order to have a strong foundation to live. Some nonprofits have an expiration date on it because they'll allow you to start your ideas and grow them into reality. And like our 6 pillars is diversity, equality, justice. The second one is climate control and the environment. The third one is focusing on empowerment activities. The fourth one is technology development. The fifth one is health. And number 6, my favorite, is feeding elders and focusing on low-income communities. Next Gen and Beyond targets funds and food partnerships. We take on following the 501c4 organizations. They are the donors. They donated 20 million pounds of food last year. They are your biggest franchises, and most of the franchises fall up under the tag of Feeding America. Review the paper that we get every day to become a partner with these stores as a nonprofit group. They donate to nonprofit groups quarterly. All that must be done is to write a letterhead and give them the tax paperwork. And the stores get 1099-V. So I don't want you to think that they're just donating this food or the product to these nonprofit organizations. They're trading tax information. 1023 EZ is what is the tax exempt on the nonprofit. And on the store end, the big franchise, they write up a 1099-V at the end of the year, which is charitable. So they get a donationable write-off. Fundraising to get people involved. And the store that we pass by every day, we should get involved with those stores to come and involve inside our community. We have to teach one to reach one. I have a list of 20 fundraising ideas that come with the 501c3. And we'll get into those fundraising ideas a little later, because those fundraising ideas is the common stuff that we do on a daily basis. So once we start getting involved with the community, with the stores, because it's a host of stores, the most important aspect of a nonprofit is grants. Grants are the real funds and the strength of the existence of a nonprofit. And most of us, when we hear the word grant, we say, I won't get that grant. They don't give them grants out for real. We don't really calculate how to get the grant or where to get the grant. And I'll get into that. Nonprofit groups are able to do and are able to get anything they choose when they're social. And they have to be willing to deal with the organization itself. The main structure of getting a grant, because I want people to understand, once you pay for these documents, you should get a grant to operate your organization. The main source is you should open up a trust account. You don't have to, but 60% of the grants go to trust accounts, because trust accounts are planning for the future. And it's not many blacks in America that actually possess trust accounts, because it's certain documents that you have to have in order to open up trust accounts. I know we hear about this stuff, see it on the internet. So it takes research. It takes studying. So a trust account is something that the main ingredient, where the money has to go. And inside of trust accounts, you stipulate how long your money stay there and how long it moves. So for those that have LLCs, these trust accounts through nonprofits can help LLCs grow, because they'll be up under one woman and their money will be in a trust account. And that trust account has a stipulation on it that no matter when, it can't be taxed, going or coming. So no taxes involved inside of the trust account. So the next step would be to write a will. And next year and beyond, we feel that one should write a will when they start dealing with our organization, because we operate up under what is called maritime jurisdiction, up under UCC codes. So all our dealings are did through contracts. And those contracts are not just contracts on our behalf, because I'll give you a prime example. Someone that's on this line has made a bad deal. When they make that bad deal, they broke the contract. All right. So if we go examine that contract that was written, it's something that was written in that contract that wasn't for your benefit from the very beginning. So UCC codes allow contracts and exchanges to be challenged. And most of this stuff is in your black law books, but that's why we advise to structure a will. You write a will from the day that you deal with us. This is what we are offering. You write a will from the day that you deal with us. And that will, the participation must input on a will. That will structure what you're going to do from the day you met Next Gen and Beyond. Because we're going to allow you access inside of grocery stores. We're going to have all the tax documents that everybody needs. Anytime that someone needs to get something zoned, all they have to do is go by the proper etiquette to get it zoned. Going to the city, we just zoned it out like that. Just everything has to be operated corporately. You know what I'm saying? No cutting corners. Everything has to be operated corporately. And the reason for the wheel is because of our grant system. And in our grant system, we guarantee something gonna come out on the end. For your time, not money. We don't spend the money already. So we ask for time. In the process of these grants that I'm back at, the grants are to be systematically wrote. Once you figure out how money moves, we know at the end of the year, last year, December, the last 2 weeks of the year, $200,000 was donated to nonprofits the last 2 weeks of the year. Because you had people that wanted to get write-offs at the deductibles. I'm not going to say write-offs, deductibles. That wanted to get deductibles at the end of the year. They wanted to trade their money at the end and not have to wait long to get their money back. They didn't want to tie of getting nonprofit. So that was a clear move. And the government itself cut $66 trillion deficit to operate to October of 2023. So we calculated that it was at least $20 trillion for the United States for nonprofit. Due to our government having so much chaos in itself, they relying on organizations to step up because black organizations don't really exist because we stumble when it comes to the top to getting the paperwork. And I'll get to that a little later on because I want everybody to kind of really understand what I'm offering. Every grant has to be wrote to how the donor donate their money, how they give their funds to organizations, not to how your organization operates. I'm gonna show you why that's legal. I have a paper. These are all the codes. These codes belong to the IRS. This is how we operate at the lower level. These codes, when Next Gen and Beyond signed up to be a nonprofit at the federal level, we said that we was a social organization. Therefore, due to us being a social organization, we wanted to touch a lot of bases. But our main ingredient is health, cooperative, and just society. Our mission is to inform, promote, connect, and strengthen individuals inside the community. Who we serve, we are a social organization. We serve the elders, people of special need, and the low income. And most of them gonna be your black and brown communities. The 501c3 give you a lot of assets when you say social. That means we can be creative when we walk outside our house because it's a lot of social things that need to be fixed. When we look into our vehicles, that social with the IRS can add your vehicle into a nonprofit organization and you can write down everything that you operate with it and also get assisted with that, especially when you say you black or other. That's the topic of discussion at the top end right now because banking had been an issue. The Rockefeller had put a banking law where you couldn't bank. They was taking black banking money, but they were only loaning the money back out. But 2014, when they signed that Anti-Terrorist Act, it opened us up to a public act. So now everything is public records. So it's an issue going on with a lot of public records that just can't be hid right now. And that's on all levels. I want everybody to know the nonprofit organization table, the 5 board members sits in every corporation in the United States. And they're not sitting a part of the stock market. So quit searching now. I'm gonna get back to the grants because this is how these companies became Fortune 500 companies. be careful. All government grants, all of them, they have to be wrote just how they donate their money, and it has to be used for what you write it for. So that's a catch-22. I see a lot of pastors get caught up in this day and time, because right there they can't understand that money has to remain in a trust account for security reasons. For those that want to investigate or anything of that nature, that trust account brings security, and it brings security to every single individual that's attached to it. But the attachment means that every time I sit down and have a meeting, or every time something is done, it has to be recorded. You know what I'm saying? So we require records. So it's so many grants. That's why it takes a team. Researching and talking to each other once a week. Each person should write 5 grants a week upon learning the grant method. And 5 people turn writing into 25 grants a week. We don't even look at the trust account. That's why we write a will. 10 months from the day of grant writing is when we have a meeting in the bank where that trust account is. We're gonna have a meeting in the bank together when we open it, and we're gonna have a meeting in it 10 months later. We're gonna call that our physical year. Because Mr. John just created a physical year. So we're gonna say in 10 months we have a physical year, and after 10 months, 60 days after the arrival of writing the grants for 10 months. That requirement will turn to 100 grants a month. And in 10 months, that would be 1,000 grants wrote. Those 1,000 grants wrote changed the amount, and it changed the ratio of getting the money. And the grants, the reason for the wheels is to secure everybody. I want to make sure everybody can have generational wealth for this input. They got a will wrote on that trust account that's been documented by the bank. So everybody's in a secure place. The document is going to go to the Secretary of State that this is what's going on. Everything has to be documented, because at the end of the year, I want everybody to get a deductible for writing. It's hard to grasp that you can get a deductible for writing, but you can get a deductible for writing. You know what I'm saying? Because I can allow people into my mainframe on Google, on 5 stars on Google. So I'm gonna share all my web information. I have a non-profit website that's got a campaign on it. So most of my campaigning is online. So my online help is highly needed, and reading is highly wanted. All right, so the trust account and the wills. All right, this will make the grants come to the trust because it's a plan for the future. See, when you plan for the future, see, it's a different ball game. You're not operating as an unknowledgeable organization. You have paperwork with structure. This is for everybody to grow with e-commerce. Next Gen and Beyond INC. Notice it's not the LLC, because the LLC solely has to stay divided from the INC, which is incorporated. And its trust only operate under UCC codes, commercial codes. The grants will be at least 5 figures, at least, because that trust account is going to draw them to them. Because once they start checking the information and the game, the asset and the object of it, they're going to automatically start applying them grants in there. And 50%, this is what we have formed. We are willing to sit down and negotiate many deals. 50% of all grants belong to the grant writer. The person who do the writing walk away with 50% of the money divided into the group. 45%, and this is optional, is invest in yourself or your company, but still be willing to hear our idea out. Because we have a notorious e-commerce thing on the table that we wouldn't put on the table that'll create generation. And we want to take money that the government gives us and work it so we can show people that, you know what I'm saying, we're not in this for the money. And 5% of all grants belong to the trust. Now we do ask for the 5% of the 45% that's optional, that you can walk away with the 95% that day. We just want you to hear our pitch. Our pitch is this. Every household has to have toilet tissue. We trying to take this money and invest in a toilet tissue machine. Once we have a toilet tissue machine, the same grant writers make that machine work, deliver, and sell. We create a business amongst each other. And once we stop being the person that is doing the working on it, that means we put somebody next of kin to us. They got the job now. It's your duty to oversee your part of the business. Because everybody ain't gonna be making. Some people gonna be dealing. Some people better salesmen. You know what I'm saying? It just create a flow. Toilet tissue is something that every household has to have. And we are trying to create it from the foundation of grants and willingness of people. It ain't about who we know, it's about the willingness of people. Donors and one of our important steps that we're taking right now to this day that I must advise everybody that donor websites, if a donor website, we use it. If you can donate money to a website, we create a profile on that website. And outside that website, we, you know what I'm saying, money can be donated. That means we can partnership with them and collect off the internet. Next Gen and Beyond has a great online presence. We 4.9 rated on Google. So next level, NEXXLEVEL.INFO. Nextlevel.info. That's our website. We are currently doing drop shipping only through Shopify.
Yes, sir.
And that's another altercation. But this is how we form these businesses. This is how we keep the paperwork going on, and this is how we keep everything intact. And before I end, I know everybody have heard of Feed America. And we should make them stand on Feeding America. These organizations have stated that they're going to feed America. Your biggest stores, Kroger, Starbucks, Google, Microsoft, Publix, Dave, Crocs, any store that you pretty much spend your money in. They say that they feed America. Last year, they read that they donated 20 pounds, million pounds. So we're going to get involved in that. We're going to try to vision and partnership with these organizations. So we're going to reach out. Wherever someone is located, we're going to reach out to the organization by email, phone call, or however we need to reach out to them. And it'll gross a lot of food amongst the circle. I don't personally want the food because I don't actually live up here. The person who find the manager, orchestrated, once I'm called, I come only for legal tendencies. I come to bring the legal paperwork, all the legal stuff, the letterhead, the tax information, the EIN, and face them head on from the corporate side. You know what I'm saying? Once I face them from the corporate side, by our laws, if someone help us, we get them 10%. if the person that's a manager that you know and they from the low income or they're facing what we're dealing with, they should get percentages of. You should make sure that person took care of it. It's one of our laws that we wrote to make sure everybody that we came in contact with got involved something, because we all faced with the same problem. So one of our key things, we're gonna be reaching out trying to get food. The meat departments, all your meat departments in every store, all your deli departments, all your stores that cook food at night, which I don't really target those. I target big restaurants. I mean big grocery stores. If they got food wrote on their building, them the ones I personally target, because I know that they're donating to nonprofit. So once we know they donate from the nonprofit, the name, email, address, we Zoom, talk to each other, come in contact with each other. That's when we orchestrate just like now. I come up here, we take a letterhead, you know what I'm saying? With just a letterhead. The letterhead right here, this is for Walmart. This is a letterhead for Walmart. I actually know a manager at Walmart that she calls me and let me know what time the manager's there. So once the manager's there, which most of the time the manager is gonna be one of our brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying? No matter they're gonna be come from, because the way everything is diverse, that they gonna want to know about the existence of the organization. They're gonna want to know, do that nonprofit organization truly exist? And that's one of the main things. They get certified by the Secretary of State of Georgia. Then they're gonna ask for the EIN number. And the EIN number is what retain the track from the IRS. And for future reference, it don't cost one dime. It only costs you some seconds on the clock. Call the IRS, they'll give you minimum as you ask. They for free. They just want to have a reason why you want it. And then they ask for what is called a letter of exemption. This is a federal exemption of taxes. When you add this to a trust account, when you add this letter to a trust account, this letter right here, they state organizations exempt under IRC section 501c3 are further classified as either public charities or private foundations. We determine you use a private foundation within the means of section 509A, pardon me. They require me to file form 990 PL. That means I have to file and aware them of the charity stuff that we pick up. So once we pick these items up, we know that you can't really put a price on brown meat or stuff that's out of date, or they don't put no price on it in that nation. So they do a pound write-off. It's called by pounds. And so they don't just lose it, because it's a loss. For many years, they were just throwing it in the trash. Because most stores, just like we didn't have tonight, they didn't either. So most stores were operating up under the same window. They didn't realize if you're a social organization that you should give it away. And so this particular document right here, the 1023 EZ, this document right here, this is the organization structure. Without this document right here, your organization is limited on what they can do, because the structure of the organization falls through the IRS 501c3. And the 501c3 requires a board. And that board must have monthly meetings, They must incorporate a structure. They must always be willing to give up the date that they were incorporated, the state, and the control number, and the DLN number. The DLN number is what follow our track. For those that don't have, for those that's at the state level, that maintain at the state level, please do this for me. Even if you just had an idea, get that EIN number and publish in the incorporate part of a newspaper. That's where you from. And let them run it for 2 weeks to put you public. That'll give a public notice. So, you know what I'm saying? It costs $400 when you let Swift Filing do it, but it's only $40 in Georgia. They charge you $50 to do it. But Georgia requires $40, but they make $10 off of it. You know what I'm saying? But all that is just red tape that you have to use. So when everybody go to track or somebody might question about this organization, because the control number itself will bring back the business name. Just like Next Gen and Beyond. My domain is NEXTGENBEYOND.INFO. Next Gen Info. Oh, pardon me. Next Gen Beyond.info. Matter of fact, Next Gen and Beyond.com belong to us. Next Level.info belong to us also. We have another website that I'm in the middle of building. It's actually .org. When you get into the nonprofit, .org is the links that we most definitely have to use. But for future reference, nonprofits are allowed to operate LLCs, and LLCs can operate through all your nonprofits. But at the end of the year, when it comes time to do the Schedule C form for the LLC, which the due date is December the 31st of every fiscal year, and the nonprofit, you have to do a 990 on December the 15th. Before they do it 2 weeks ahead, they ain't part of the same. They're a part of the same department. So it just you have to balance it when you start dealing with that. But my company was built to umbrella, because if the more we study, we'll find out that we can umbrella up under big corporations or incorporation. We can always umbrella. We can always take it to the table, write a board member in, and write the whole full organization to the Secretary of State. You know what I'm saying? It's just two things that we asking. We need help with phone calls on both ends. Everybody that's on here that got issues, we all gotta put all our phone calls together so we can know that we helping each other. Number one, something that's simple. Phone calls. For those that have people that's incarcerated, those that, you know what I'm saying, trying to help their people. So for those that have questions. Communication to stores and people. Thank you. Number two, email. We have a lot of email, and we have a lot of people that's incarcerated, and they are side of a business also. You just don't know it. They're part of what is called Corporate Correction of America, and every morning that stock changes. So it's livestock. And if you don't believe that, go to the 13th Amendment. In 1865, the 13th Amendment was ratified. It was 20 sections. This day right here is only 2. But if you don't abolish the 13th Amendment, you don't abolish race, because prior to the 13th Amendment, the Constitution was built on the commercial world. That's why we so far behind, because we don't understand that the Constitution built on the commercial world. Matter of fact, my idol is J.P. Morgan, and he was the person that went up against Rockefeller till he died. That was his enemy, and y'all know it as Chase Bank today. They wrote the blueprints on corporate America, because once they started getting in trouble for loaning the bank money, for just loaning money, racketeering, what it called this day, what they were doing then. They had to go to federal court. They had to form a court for them to make criminal cases against them. And so now we still play on their corporate America right now. That's how the structure of the IRS is rolled. Like me, I go on IRS, take a tour every day. Don't cost me nothing but 15 minutes. And I can do that all day sometimes. And so in the mix of this corporate America that we're wrestling with, this is important. All right. The 12 Bill of Rights. I want y'all to know I stand on this. Research it. The 12 Bill of Rights. They were wrote by King George III, an Englishman. If you look at the name Georgia, and George.
That's right.
Matter of fact, we'll go look a little deeper. We'll look and see how many states got habeas corpus. That's an English court. It's only 7 states in the United States that have habeas corpus, and Georgia's one of them. Because if they'd have taught us how you make law, which I would have just learned the business side, but how you make law. Our Congress that sits in Washington, D.C., I thought that they stayed and worked there every day. But they work in the state that they reside in.
Right.
And they go have that meeting. That's how I figured this out. Because they had been doing it all while. They just don't like each other. They're not high. So the 12 Bill of Rights, as we move through the 12 Bill of Rights code, it was wrote for white males. That's the truth. So now public records can't hide a lot of that. Artifacts that tie to it. A bunch of research can be done. So when we get to the 13th Amendment, I ain't gonna hold it on, but the 13th Amendment, all right, right there, the 13th Amendment, you say I ain't got nobody to work for free anymore. Because when I go do research, I see a lot of Anglo-Saxons, no disrespect to anybody, that came from across the sea to over here. Ships and ships and ships. They got footage and pictures of it. Ships and ships. Who else was getting on ships if they're being able to go where they wanted to go? That's what made me study them, because I wanted to know how they were able to be riding around and not worry about nobody messing with them. But come to find out, 12 Bill of Rights, King George III didn't have it alone. He shared it with the Moors. Wartime jurisdiction. That's what is operated on.
And that's over the seas.
That's why when you go inside of a courtroom, it look like a boat.
A ship.
Look like a ship. No land law. So let's rethink that. We're gonna start making our own laws from this point on. And I got the physical book at home. The whole jurisdiction book. I got all the books you can think that you might need. The articles of about
get the Robert rules of
all that. Right now, the United States is fighting against the Moroccan Act that marijuana's on the table. And they ain't gonna be able to fight against it. But it's gonna cause a lot of stuff to go on. So being in this commercial world, 1865, they wrote slavery. They wrote abolish slavery. All right. That means they had to come up with an industrial. Because in 1865, it was unknown for a white man to be working. Unknown. Everybody in town would have stopped. If they seen a white man working in 1865, everybody in town would have stopped and been amazed. Because no white males were working. No, they just had figured out how to be a boss. They just had figured it out. You know what I'm saying? I hate to say it, but they just had figured out how to be a boss. Somebody else to work. Somebody else to do something to make them very rich.
Right. So Mr. Hawkins, I got a question I want to ask. I have other individuals that is looking and have questions. So the question that we the people is asking is, again, your location or place of business.
My Secretary of State, my location is in Warner Robins, Georgia. I run an online service. So my meeting location is in 133 Hidden Creek, Warner Robins, Georgia.
You say 133 what?
Hidden Creek.
Hidden Creek, Warner Robins, Georgia.
Warner Robins, Georgia.
Right. And the other question is, how long you and your company under the 501c3 been operating and things that you've been doing in the last 2 years?
In the last 2 years, we started out as a LLC only, and we seen that in the side of the neighborhood, we seen how the elders were struggling during the pandemic. We got created during the pandemic. When most companies was going out of business, we seen an opportunity in our community to fit in for our company. So we started dealing with household products. Our main product is toilet tissue. And I mainly have been getting toilet tissues from out the wholesaler, Sam, just wherever. I just really was searching wherever. Till I built the business credit card. You know, I just really was focused on dealing with the elders because it had got so dangerous and the elders had got abused during the pandemic. And so we started out in our neighborhood and online because we had dreams of having online businesses. So like right now we got 2 online stores and drop shipping stores.
Question. I remember you saying about y'all having your own toilet paper making machine. You actually have one?
That's why that's the purpose of us sitting together for us. See, everybody that operate without paperwork, I fix that problem. Okay. Because I'm non-profit. And as long as they in the state of Georgia, I can protect them. And see, coming together, and that's why we didn't ask for no help doing this. Because this is the hard part. So we wanted to find people we wanted to feed the people that were gonna help us. That we're gonna write the grants. So the people that find these stores, they walk away with their food.
Well, Mr. Hawkins, speaking on that note, I have Brother T.Y. on the phone that does have his own grocery store. And he's been listening along the conversation. And so I want to get down to the nitty gritty why he on the phone, because he's very busy.
Yeah.
Right. So Mr. T.Y., we speaking on the point of grocery stores. And if you could elaborate a little bit more on that with Mr. Hawkins being present, if you don't mind.
Good evening.
And Mr. YT, hold 1 minute. That the phone call that coming to your phone now, can you please answer? Yes, we can hear you a little bit louder now.
Yeah.
So I was basically done. I was just basically saying, yeah, we created a small grocery store, 4,000 square foot grocery store and restaurant where we utilize our farming network throughout the country to basically purchase bulk products and to serve our community with a lot of non-GMO food.
All right. Like right now, we really following your footsteps. We really in the track of your footsteps. We really don't walked up from the to the 50C perspective.
Right.
And now we are going to the grocery stores for donations. We picking up donations. We creating profiles for donors on Google, and we also that was the whole person me want to meet with this group for us to start structuring grants where my company just wouldn't get help, others could also get help, and we can get 2 times the amount of grants wrote. And like you have experience.
He's exactly right. I mean, I would tell people to get their farmer number. I would tell people to learn what's going on in the food industry and develop those relationships with those old farmers, black, white, Mexican. And I mean,
And like,
man, I mean, it's not rocket science.
nah, it ain't rocket science. And one of our main ingredients is to gain to actually invest into a tissue making machine, to actually get the machine, cut the middleman out of it. And cause tissue is just like grocery. Everybody got to have it. It got to go in every household. It even go.
One of my, excuse me to cut you off, one of my mentors, Muhammad from Freedom Paper Company out of Baltimore. He believes the exact same way you do. And there's another paper company that because I mean the market, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I was just saying that so you can look at their model and see how they go. But just like bread, when you go to a bread house, there's 10 different types of bread. So, so yeah, do that. Get your paper machine. Create your own paper. Yes.
Yeah, hey, excuse me. Right now, they looking at the CAGR of a percentage between 2022 to 2027 globally. Tissue scope are estimated keep growing, reaching roughly $46.9 billion US dollars by 2027.
Wow.
So that's really what drew me to toilet tissue.
Well, I'm just like you. What drew, I mean, first and foremost, self-preservation what drew me to farming. You know what I'm saying? Because, and I got to take care of myself first and my family first and foremost. But with on the community aspect, the same thing as well. And then that's another item, farming, water, toilet paper, any kind of energy that we can get into, anything that 100% people use and have to use. I mean, it always could be a good, business model if you take the right precautions and, take the right steps.
Right. So why I got you guys on understanding the mission. I want to go back to you, Mr. Hawkins, for a quick second. The question is, the people are asking is, why is grant writing is so important with the 501c3 process and application?
Well, the main thing is structure. How your organization been structured throughout the grant and how the donor of the grant get their money up. So the structure of your grant and how you write is very, very important. Because somebody ain't giving their money for, you know what I'm saying? You got to be, it's a touchy situation. It's something that you put time in for. Right. You're happy the money.
Right. And the other question is, you mentioned the 2 other companies that you do have. And could you provide the name, location, and information of how the people can be reached at those 2 locations?
Right. One of them a drop shipping online store. I collaborate with Shopify. My link is https two slice lines NEXXGEN dash BEYOND dash LLC lowercase dot myshopify.com. And we do drop shipping, anything that any kind of product. We deal with household product, but any kind of product that someone want to get that we don't have, all they have to do is get in contact with me. Our business number is 888-301-1012. Our email address is ng-b@NextGen and Beyond, and the spelling is NEXTGENBEYOND.info. And that's our company link. So it's our domain, it's our email address, it's our whole attachment, it's our Google mainframe. And our other company is an online store also, but we deliver to the elders and people of special need, because that's our model. That's our company model. It was built for the elder people to get the product delivered to their home. My original idea was for my grandkids to have a job and a business by the time they got to the age of 12. And they're only 8 right now. So I was building a model for them to deliver the tissue. It wasn't meant for adults, it's meant for our heirs. And the way to deliver more tissue was by drone, because that was the new era going on into the technology era where they didn't have to do much traveling. It cut back on gas, where they can end. Cause we was gonna try to get every household if we had to break the tissue down to 50 cents. We just want the industrial. It's all about the industrial, owning the industrial, not being a multi-big company, but owning the actual industrial.
Right. So if the people would like to have your service, as far as starting their own LLC and 501c3, how could they sit down with you if need be?
Well, my main ingredient, everybody that's on here is for free. My main ingredient is to actually do a once a week on Zoom. I actually have a nonprofit organization group named NextGen and Beyond on Facebook. So I had actually been building up a group there so we can all sit at one place. I like TikTok, but it's kind of new. But TikTok allow 6 people to be on the screen, and the more we do it, the more content, the more we'll start being able to get a part of making money. Because TikTok actually one of the platforms that if you're on live, the more content it'll start being a business in itself. So we'll actually start being able to make money by just coming on TikTok for, on live for a little time to communicate with each other.
Right. And there's another question is that why 5 people to start this process as grants and so forth on?
Well, the reason for the 5 people is that how the board is structured, so everybody know their position. We know that everybody can't be a great writer. We know that most of the time the person that had the great words, he can't write that good. The person that had the great handwriting don't have much time. So we knew, the way the corporate structure of America been written, it's been written on a president, vice president, chairman, and a secretary, and a parliamentarian in some cases. You can add another person, a man at large, but it's on the structure of the group. You know what I'm saying? You want to put one ideal on a table and 5 people go off and do their best at one thing, not a whole multitude of things, just one single thing. We ask for 8 hours a week into NextGen and Beyond when it comes to the grant writing, because we feel that it's worth 8 hours out the week. So that'll put you on reading in the IRS. It's gonna make you more smarter with the IRS, and they're gonna put everybody on point. So when we deal with situations, we can deal with it from the IRS and the corporate perspective. Like I want to ask one question. Is it possible? Do you do any charitable donations?
And who are you asking? Mr. T.Y.
Yeah, Mr. T.Y.
Any charitable donations?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, of course. I mean, our not-for-profit was a 90-10. We donated 90% of what we grew, and actually only sold about 10% to help us with our seed program. The grocery store has a charitable program where we give individuals with WIC and low income single mothers a discount as well.
All right. Yeah, because that's kind of what we trying to build the whole group up and do it off the wheel of the paperwork. You know what I'm saying? Because we actually got all the way, we got all the full paperwork all the way down to the 501c3. So for collectively as the group, that's what, you know what I'm saying, we was kind of focused on, let's strengthen each other up in every best way we possibly can.
Facts.
Right.
I mean, I started with $40 in my pocket, 7 years ago, and then we actually had an attorney, even though I have a paralegal degree, and I could have drafted my own 501c3 charter and everything. Yeah. We had an attorney do it because we wanted to make sure that no matter what, like you said earlier, you want to make sure you have all your I's dotted, everything, your T's crossed, and you want to make sure you have somebody on retainer as well.
Exactly. And before we go any further, I just want to let the viewers know that we, the people, demand equal justice here in Georgia. We are dead serious about the division that we are standing in against this government that we have that is not for us. If we do not stick together and pull together and support each other for every angle of this struggle that we going through, then you may not be a part of this change. So with that said, family, I'm allowing you guys to get a full understanding why we move and do the things that we do out of passion and love. Because without love, there's no passion in this struggle for a change for our kids in our community and get rid of them judges and DAs. So with that said, I would like to go a little bit more farther in the details here, family. There's another question, Mr. Hawkins, and also Mr. T.Y. They also asking if you two guys organize, structuralize together here in Georgia, and if we come together and find a building that can cover enough grounds so that we in Cordele, Georgia, and any other county that's in Georgia that would like to have their own grocery store in their county, could that be relevant and could that happen? And that's the question that they are asking here, the people. If you two guys come together here in Georgia and apply the application and we work together, could this happen?
There's a will, there's a way.
It's possible. I'm saying we can structure that easily. See, we just got to find a building. So that's gonna be the main agenda. And this is another aspect of the 501c3.
Riverdale Road.
Well, this is another aspect of the 501c3 also. Buildings do be on the table. It have to be a city or a state building is unoccupied, and it's a few red tapes with it. A lot of times it worked good in Cordele because we had kind of put somebody in position on side of the city commission and place a few people on the board of education. So that was kind of a touchy situation. The 501c4 is the politics of the ground. So we had used a group called Beam. We kind of ushered the politics and put who we wanted up there to get a vote. So once you go to present the city, cause we in the South, so everything been made. It been made how it was wrote years ago. So when you go in there and you ask for a building, we asked for the building for the program like I had advised, like the 501c based on teaching the elders how to use their phones,
Right.
and teaching the youth how to use Google Workspace and Microsoft 365,
Right.
so they can compete corporately.
Right. Good.
That's how we get the building. We just gotta find a building that belongs to the city or the state. You know what I'm saying? And then me and Mr. Ty, me and Mr. T.Y. hold it now. I know that this is a touchy situation where everything has to be documented.
Man,
You know what I'm saying? Well, we almost have to drag a secretary. We gotta have, you know what I'm saying, secretary, to make sure that everything stays in the full structure.
Right. But this question that came down from We the People chat group, they are asking if a prison that is abandoned and up for sale, the state, because we heard that you did mention if it's state or county. If a prison is up for sale, and we speak now, because Governor Kemp closed one down and finna open another one up.
Damn, they can't sell them.
And that's what we asking. Could they sell? Could we the people, the citizen of that county, just say that county is Dooley State Prison. If that prison come up for sale, could we go to the county commissioner or the city commissioner and say, look, you have a county, or you have a prison that sits in the county of Dooley, and it up for sale statewide. And we, as a 501c3 representative, would like to buy it under that application. Could we do that or not?
Yes, because that's a state building. It
Wow.
don't supposed to be sold. See, a state and a city building are landmarks. They don't supposed to be occupied in the selling market. Just like we have an issue with Ed's Club. They sold the auditorium, and that's an African-American landmark. See, that's a landmark. See, because they had to ask the citizens of the community to build that. See, it wasn't somebody just bought some land and just went out there and built what they wanted to build on there. No, they had to actually go to the citizen and get a petition in order to build a prison on the ground in a county, which they stood on that it was going to bring jobs to that low-income area.
Wow.
Because I want to say this. In 1960, President Johnson was president. After Kennedy. And what came along, mark my word, is called the Empowerment Act. And every president since Johnson has been signing the Empowerment Act. And me personally, I liked the act that Trump signed, because when he signed the Empowerment Act, the low income areas, $40,000 and less. We know that $40,000, you don't make $40,000 in half the year, you in trouble. If you don't make that in 6 months, you in trouble now. That used to be the model. But if you make $40,000 or under, that means you're in poverty.
Wow.
It recalled too, so they keep signing these empowerment acts. All you have to do is target empowerment zones. That grocery store have to actually be targeted in an empowerment zone. Empowerment zones are your low income in town, where they've been controlling it, how one side grows and how the other one did. They cut checks from the federal government level they take these grants, the big grants that go to the city officials, that they work the amount of money and they give it to them to handle. So they pass it out like they want to pass it out. And if you really want to follow the money, follow the Board of Education. It's a big organization in the United States.
And you say the Board of Education,
Board of Education.
one of the biggest
organization in the United States. Matter of fact, Cartier Board of Education, to be such a small town, they had $7.1 million left over after last year.
Now, when we get to that point of education, and to that point why education is so important, but before we go any further, Mr. Hawkins, I do want to ask you this. Knowing the empowerment, structure, and application in these small rural towns. Now, we want to go back because the group chat is blowing up. And they want to speak on and not go too far in depth, but allow the public to be aware that the prison in Reedville, state prison, is closed down and up for sale. If it's not up for sale, it needs to be. So they are asking is that if it is up for sale, and if we can meet that margin, $2.2 million for the prison, which is, I think, the landmark of it, at least 50.
The phone come with it?
I don't know.
All right, that's a 100. That 87. That's a 87. It's 100 and something acres. All right, they closed the Hogborn down. That might be a bad area though. That might be gonna be a turn to an abandoned area because it been built in the. That's not a good deal because it's been built in the 30s or 40s because that was Georgia State Prison. Right. So that means cast iron pipes completely up under that place. Right. That means that, you know what I'm saying? I actually been to that place. Nah, man, that's a place that place is too old. They shouldn't have nobody there. Which they got hog-borns and they got a whole, that's a plantation, man. Do they realize they trying to buy a plantation?
Well, that's understood, and that's why the clarification needs to be understood. You know what I mean? To be understood of why it's up for sale and why it need be open or closed down. So we were just trying to get some clarification on even private prison, if they come up for sale, could they be bought also?
No, you can't. The organization own those places.
Okay.
They organize like we're doing. They organize and become nonprofit and they use what is called a 504 tactic. And that 504 is an operation that you're aware the IRS that, hey, look, we down here in South Georgia, we country boy don't figure out how to use the IRS operation. So we file them and tell them, look, we operation 50C4. They gonna tell you, they gonna say, well, like this form here, this is a 1023 EZ. All right, this form right here is the one for the 501c3. All right, once you get to the 1024 EZ form, it costs, I got to tell you how much that would cost. The form itself costs $275, and for the IRS to file it, it costs another $600. So you'd be out of $800 something. But the document itself is a powerful document. You can deal with political, and you can deal with a multitude of issues. And your board can come up and say that we want to build a community up, so we gonna purchase that. So it be done in a non-profit fashion.
Well, I mean, I think that did clarify and gave a good understanding to the group chat here, we the people. And I want to say, Mr. Hawkins, is that your information will be placed online via email as well. And we also want to ask one last question. Is that is it safe to say every week could we come back with more information of of what you does and how you do it and what you stand on.
Yeah, how about we put it like that every 10 days? That'll be three times a month. And we all got to start utilizing Zoom so we can reach out a little further. Like me personally, I have a good access with the online world. So trying to bring everybody to the online world so we'll become accustomed to emailing each other. Emailing is one of the new businesses that I ain't gonna drag this along, but I think we should understand this. Emailing is what is the second biggest cryptocurrency there is. It's called Ethereum. Ethereum is emailing and the index that we use when we go on a website. Well, we used to put www. whatever the website is. Now you just have to put the website and dot. All right. Ethereum is the data that every single device uses. At the end of, I know everybody thinks 24 hours a day, but it's 23 hours and 45 minutes because of the circumference of a circle. And in the mix of that, the data is added up at 23 hours and 45 minutes of every single cycle. And when they add that data up, that data comes from y'all devices that you pay for Wi-Fi or some type of service to have data on it. Unlimited data. Unlimited data, why you gotta pay for unlimited next month? You shouldn't tell me I'm just gonna have enough to last. But it's a Ponzi scheme when it comes to data. So they add all our data up that we uncontrollable don't know how to work. So they add all our data up. Once they add our data up, Ethereum is what makes the money. The rappers, they send in their songs through emails, and that's how they make their money, through email. So we need to learn that emailing is a business. Like honestly, like we ask for assistance for this. We go in public records and just get like, man, we just go to the like upper class neighborhoods and just get all their addresses, and we mail them letters from the nonprofit. You know what I'm saying? No leaf should be unturned. We email. We have an email system that we operate through Google. No leaf should be unturned. No leaf. Everything must be turned now and day. That's why we gotta collaborate, because it take a board. No matter what board, you know what I'm saying, what name, it takes a board. Most of the time, boards are formed from others that come from organizations that were running it, so they can sit at a board and start obtaining and putting goals and setting things in missions. You know what I'm saying? We write it down, we think it, we write it down, then we live it out. That's the concept in the nonprofit world. Every day you wake up, it's something that you gotta first structure yourself, then start moving on that. You know what I'm saying? Like they have $1,000. You know what I'm saying? When I this is the first thing I get in the car with me. It got to be in the car. Right. Somebody might challenge it. So I got that, it got to be in the car. Was one man challenged it. I told him, he said, man, I don't care if it's for real or not. He said, I'm just glad you ain't out committing crime. And he said, you got some paper for real? His name Jack Wood, used to be an officer. He did inspector now. So somebody said I didn't have a license to be operating. But
all the time,
I got more license to be operating than you do. So when we got out there and he found out that you got, yes.
Right.
I said, I actually got this degree from prison. I was doing an electrical job. I said, I actually got this from prison. They actually teach you this in prison. That piece of paper come from prison. You can't take that game because it came from a university. I said, that's how I know that it was a game. It was a game. You know what I'm saying? So 501c3, I thought the LLC was the biggest other thing. A LLC is great when you operate in small, business form. Small business is great when operating a small business, but small business get taxed too much. You know what I'm saying? That's the most important thing. You know what I'm saying? In America, we got to understand the tax world. You know what I'm saying? I hate to talk so fast, but I love the tax. The tax, it's like playing chess. You know what I'm saying? If we understand the taxes, all right, you work a job. All right, they tax it when you get paid. You know what I'm saying? And in the end of the year, if you make $40,000, you know what I'm saying, you paid out, you know what I'm saying, $1,200 worth of taxes. You know what I'm saying? The Fed gonna hit you for 12, and the state gonna hit you for about $600-700. All right. Once you they took that out.
Mm-hmm.
When you go in the store, you're gonna get hit
Yep.
every single time on
Mhm.
every single dollar. You know what I'm saying? That what made me learn that game. So the tax game, I'm gonna get this a freebie right here. I charge for this form. The Schedule C form. LLC is supposed to do the Schedule C at the end of the fiscal year to write off what amount of money had transpired through the LLC. A good accountant keep it good. Keep it good. You know what I'm saying? Like Donald Trump ain't paid no tax last year. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care how nobody feel. Hey, he told it from the beginning. He said, hey man, the game rigged. Cause I use it. So I can't do nothing but respect that.
Yeah, he sure did.
I can't do nothing but respect that. You know what I'm saying? He told it from the very day, the game rigged. I use it. So in the mix of the LLC, too much tax come out of the LLC. At the end of the year, I did it for a whole year. You know what I'm saying? I used to come to the cater. I used to make the trip every week. I used to come up here, buy 100 cases of tissue. First of all, I ain't had no vehicle. So I used to have to drive up here and be sleep at the U-Haul place when the U-Haul play over, so I can get in and roll and drive the car in, unload as fast as I can, and put it back in the U-Haul place. You know what I'm saying? That would cost me $500 to make that trip. Gas went up. Went from paying $20-30 for gas, paying $60-70 for gas. So the operation of my LLC was challenged.
Oh, tell me. $500.
I got to read it.
What size U-Haul truck you was
I
getting?
gotta get the giant one. These cases this big. The cases that you buy out of Sam.
And how long is this trip?
What Cordial?
I've been to Cordell. I know they ain't nothing but a few hours away.
Yeah, but you gotta rent these people truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it ain't like when you rent it and take it across town. When you rent it and take it out of town and put it at somebody else's place.
Oh, okay. Y'all leave it down there.
Oh, I ain't bring it back. They gonna charge you. They charge by the miles, and no, I'm going to another U-Haul place, and here go y'all truck.
Okay.
So it was challenged. I was getting a great deal. Back then, I was getting it for $15 a case. I was selling for $25 a case. I was accepting $10. Now you gotta remember, I'm accepting $10 of profit everything I buy. That I gotta use my money to buy. So when I come up here, it cost me $2,000. You know what I'm saying? I buy 100 cases, 50 cases of tissue, 50 cases of paper towels. It take me 24 hours to sell it. It's the biggest sell I ever seen. Cause tissue gotta be in every house. Take me 24 hours to sell it. You know what I'm saying? Cause hey, the folks I know, they shop at Walmart. Ain't nothing else.
Right.
So that way you corner empowerment zones. Ain't nothing else. You can't stop me from being on that corner, because I already went out in the city hall, zoned it out. Now we got a whole outfit on that curve. We got non-profit going on. We got fish being fried, we getting this food from selling it for nothing. See, I know that you got to get out in the community with it.
Right.
Just because you pull that food out of there for free, all right? You had to go get it. You had to operate. You got to have an outfit together to do this. So guess what? You know what I'm saying? You sell it for nothing. You sell it for nothing to build a trust up, to build a trust account up. Okay, you got to realize you got to build these accounts up, man. You got to take money to operate. It take money to help them brothers that locked up. Cause it's a brother right now locked up to get what? He can't call nobody, because ain't nobody going to let him use their phone because he trying to talk about his case.
Right.
He can't be helped. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about this stuff now.
Well, Ms. Ogden, the group chat is again, and the main one, I'm scrolling through it, but the main one they are asking in different counties. There's 159 counties, and we are in at least 159 counties as we speak now. So they are asking if they have a building, as they have a building as of right now in their small rural county, and they are wanting to incorporate that building as a donation to what we are talking about now.
All right, what county?
This county is Moultrie, Georgia, and Monticello, Georgia.
Oh man, right outside.
Right. So they are asking this: if they have the building and would like to donate it to your 501c3. Wow.
And we sit down and write a contract with the grocery man.
No, they are asking how can they donate their building to your 501c3? How can they?
1 second. All right. This is the code that you use.
And they want to donate the building to you.
All right. This is how this works. I ask them, do they have an actual company, LLC, or some form of small business or anything of that nature right now? Or they just a private citizen?
Okay, they are listening. And if they do have that, then what?
All right. Right there, that when we fill out a form, which is a 1099, they have to fill that form out.
Okay.
They fill that form out, it comes strictly from IRS. All right. On my end, I have to take and fill the form 990 PF. We have to wait till both forms come back. So the IRS will send me his form and my form. The IRS will send him my form. We have to have a IRS contact. So we'll use what is called a return of a private foundation. This is in the section 4947 A, parenthesis 8, parenthesis 1. This is a trust treated as a private foundation annually, which are worth, it's worth the word, I'm looking for the word, it's worth, not write off. I said I'm gonna quit using that word, write off. It's worth a deduction. That's why they have to do the 1099, and the deduction on that contribute is why you take it strictly through the IRS so they can get what's rightfully theirs on the other end. See, everything is did in a charitable event through paperwork. You know what I'm saying? We have to pass forms. That's the main ingredient with everything that we do. We have to pass forms, and then we'll look in UCC code and track down how everything get jurisdiction. And like the county that he actually lived, that's Cockwood County, I believe, by how the county operate too. So, you know, it had to be a sit down. We'll have to actually go to their county. They will have to actually go down to their county courthouse, you know what I'm saying, to see how they see the structure of the county itself. And we'll have to actually get the seal off the county. You know what I'm saying? That's because how we structure our company, we have to deal like with these parties to make sure everybody treated fair, and we have a signed contract that they agree with and we agree with to make sure they, you know what I'm saying, receive what they're supposed to receive on the other end.
And the name of that form again?
Name of that form is a 1099-V.
V. Like Victor.
Yeah, Victor.
Right. So once that form get filled out, all three parties exchange document, and that building will be turned over to your 501c3.
Well, actually the state turns it over. See, once you pass the documents, once all the documents get passed over, actually the state is the person who pass over the building itself, because it have to be zoned inside of the county.
Right.
Like it's sitting in the county. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have to have this county seal. You know what I'm saying? But actually, they make sure it's a clean transaction, because a lot of land and stuff been took from black people. So they had to put a lot of structure, a lot of laws involved, and we have to remember that when we start operating corporately, we have to play by, you know what I'm saying, the rules been wrote already.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They've been wrote for them though. We just have to utilize them.
Right.
And hold on. I got two other forms that also that, you know what I'm saying, I want others to be aware of. One of them is a 1099-A and a 1099-B and 1099-C. These are everything these are not your charitable. These are not your charitable codes, but these are banishment codes. Like sometimes we have land in our community, stuff that's just land in our community. Like if you're in the state of Florida, I know most people in Georgia, but if you're in the state of Florida, if you just go live there for a month, they can't make you leave.
They
So
can't make you leave.
if it's been abandoned, you know what I'm saying? Because
Right,
we
right.
can't have abandonness in our community. We allow it because we just not aware of it, but we can't allow abandonment in our
Is
neighborhood.
that just in Florida or that's here too?
Well, in Georgia, you have to go through a permit process, but if state of Florida, they have different constitutional laws. You know what I'm saying? You can get a gun down there. You can't get no gun down there. You get one. But see, all right, this is 1099 C. This form right here is a cancellation of debt. So any kind of bind something might be in, any kind of property, all right, any personal asset is what it called a 608 letter that can easily get those marks off. So, and when it comes to property, stuff of that nature, we have 1099 A. If a property that has been pretty much secure property that somebody, like now we can go to websites and track down our ancestors. So if you track your ancestors down in the 1920 and the 1940 census, most of them will be tracked down to some form of private property, dirt road, or some of that nature. If they say that they couldn't read, and they say that they work for no money, it's easy to get that land. That land belongs to your family. That's what the government is doing right now. This is what is called a 1099-B. This form right here is delinquent property. This is what they use against us. When you don't make a payment on a vehicle, they use this form right here to take that vehicle back out your possession. Because by UCC laws, a bill don't mean paid. So we have to be mindful of the things that go on in our life. So the UCC is our friend. And these forms are the forms that all we have to do is learn how to obtain them and use them and utilize them. And see, the paperwork alone, putting it back. And for his property, I just feel comfortable with let's secure property, not only for my organization, but for every single person that comes and access, because I belong to the community. I realize my company belongs to I operate it, but it belongs to the community. Because we care about the community. And not just one asset of the community. So we want to make sure we don't got bad deals. You know what I'm saying? We don't got bad deals to get here. You know what I'm saying? And I know a bunch of us, you know what I'm saying, coming out from our background, we all have got bad deals. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? I felt that I should learn the information and give it out instead of charge. The only thing that is, my tax business is business, but other than that, I get any kind of tax. I get any kind of advice. I get advice that no tax office ever give. So, and I have the software that I can help others. So for the business that he was asking about, my main attorney is we do tax returns. Me, I personally don't care for personal stuff, period. Not personal information, the personal income tax. Cause it's just government money. So I help people. I consult for free with when you file your taxes, different everybody to file their taxes. All right. When you run down the receipts that you have and you go into the tax office or the prepare, you know what I'm saying? Just just think fast and say, I pay light bill, water bill, daycare, you know what I'm saying, everything. Just run all that down to the point where they'll have to put a Schedule C attached with your return. Because if you can say I did something other than work this job in 4-5 months out of the year, you know what I'm saying? Like me, I don't pay taxes. You know what I'm saying? I'm exempt on every end. But when I work a job, it's exempt, but I still pay $20 a week in my own portal. I don't need somebody to hold my hand. I pay it in my own IRS portal. I pay $20. I literally don't get them but $200 a year. And I know how to make the return come back. You just got to do other stuff and record it. So when you're talking to somebody, you got records of it.
So Mr. Hawkins, you are saying that if anyone would like to have their taxes done by you providing that service, the main three things that they need is all receipts that they do have. They have to dig them up and bring them to you. That's one phase, right?
Yeah. No.
And what is the second phase?
All right, the second phase is this, man. Due to our hand is out, we also extend our hand too. All right. We add what is called a Schedule C. It's not illegal. A Schedule C is what LLC turns in at the end of the year. All right. When a Schedule C is added to a tax return, all right, you itemize your life. Gas, water, light bill, the stuff that you're doing for real. You know what I'm saying? This stuff you're doing for real. You ain't keeping track of it. This is stuff you're doing for real. You know what I'm saying? Because if you made you made $60,000 this year, you know what I'm saying? Bills got, you know what I'm saying, 20,000 of them. You know what I'm saying? And then
including insurance,
all that. If you got market insurance, they give money for that right now. If you got right now this year, if you got an upright LLC and you got W-2 employees, this your year, $26,000 employee, but they gonna want that 1089. All right, for school getting up by $3,000. You know what I'm saying? If you went to school this year, you can get that money. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna want a form called 1089. You know what I'm saying? 1089 gonna track back to that school. As long as you can get that school EIN number, you know what I'm saying, attached, we can roll with it. Children, they paying $1,500 a kid. So if you got a deduct, let's just say a young lady that worked one job this year, and if she worked, you know what I'm saying, if she worked 2 jobs and worked a majority of the year, you know what I'm saying, you add that form to that W-2, she'll bring back about $7,000-8,000. You know what I'm saying? All because you add that Schedule 2. It's just my company charges $1,000 for that form. But that form makes you $3,000-4,000. It's going how you work and how you structure. Because you know what I'm saying, if you ain't got no dependent, you know what I'm saying, yeah, it's kind of different adding that form in there, because when you add that form in there, that form gonna put you, let's just say somebody would have to pay in $500 because they ain't got no dependent. All right, you add that Schedule C, it'll bring them out the hole. It'll bring them, if they gave up, let's just say they gave up $4,000 federal tax, $800 state tax. All right, we'll go back and revise all them taxes. All right, you know, rightfully, the taxes that you paid in are only yours. All right, when you start itemizing your life and putting other things in there, the government know that that's a little heavy for you to be able to live life. You know what I'm saying? Anything over 60% of your wages, you know what I'm saying? That's a little heavy on you living life. So you need some assistance.
Yeah.
So that's why these other forms came in. If somebody that has you know what I'm saying, it's way more than like the battle of the forms. That's what IRS calls it. The battle of the form. Because I can take Schedule H, add that. The only thing about that Schedule H is they gonna turn around and ask for the EIN number of the institution or the LLC that you saying you're working for. So you have to have their EIN number,
Right?
And so you have to have a statement, and it's just very wise is get some kind of document that you know what I'm saying, that attach back to them, receipts, boards. It's stuff that you can get. You know what I'm saying? But at least when you decide at the beginning of the year, I'm gonna do this here, at least feel like a form and send it to the IRS. You know what I'm saying? They return it back to you. They got so much going on now. They return everything.
Right.
They don't need AI do everything now. We gotta realize we battling with artificial intelligence.
Right.
So that's the main ingredient that we gotta remember. But when you add that H form in there, it does a big way. I'm gonna be honest. I got a link, green investment. You know what I'm saying? And a business number. Let me make sure I get the right number. Gotta make sure I got that right. Gotta make sure I got that right number. All right, it's the thing about this. The thing about this is 855-203-5085. 855-203-5085. 855-203-5085. And this line is open at all times at Green Solution. We focus mainly on tax returns, building the credit, because one of our main targets is low income building their credit. So when someone get a tax return, we want you to go and fix your credit. So if you fix your credit right then, all the marks off your credit. So we can get the marks off your credit. So by the time you don't sponge your tax return, your credit don't form. So now you got credit. You can use the credit and take advice from only use 30% of the credit and pay on it, and you can make it through the year versus have to wait for the W-2 at the end of the year next year. You know what I'm saying? You have credit, you'll be on the established credit. That's our main agenda. Our main agenda is to establish credit. Because business credit, you know what I'm saying? I can walk people through business credit. Matter of fact, everybody that's on a business credit, I can walk you through that. I can send you all the apps, links, all the stuff that I can send the blueprint, everything. Only thing I can't send you is the software. But for the business credit, I can build that in 4 months. You know what I'm saying? And my company charged $4,500 to build business credit from zero to be able to get a loan. And we're attached to a loan company also. Like anybody do their W-2 and they file their taxes with us, we actually, once we get through the portal of the IRS portal, you know what I'm saying, they send us back, make sure no child support, no debts, nowhere. You know what I'm saying? They tell us how much we can get this person up front. So we actually have the whole layout. But we do tax solution. You know what I'm saying? We just want to fix the taxes because taxes are important. And the people that want to live at a different level, you know what I'm saying? I advise them to create an entity. Once they create, even if they use their own name, create an entity. Put something behind it. LLC, LP, that limited partner, INC, you know what I'm saying? CORP, you know what I'm saying? That's a host of it.
Right. So once the people get you the information, then the third part will be what?
Well, with the information, this all my job is when they get the information. That means they know the person.
Right.
That means the individual. That means that the only time I'm gonna meet that individual is when they say, "All right, this the person, this the name." All right, that's when I'm gonna show up. 9 times 10 in Georgia, I ain't got no problem going somewhere. I'm gonna show up with a letterhead to that actual institution, grocery store, whatever it is. I'm gonna have a letterhead. I'm gonna have all the tax information. Once I show up there, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna negotiate with the manager of the store. They gonna take my information and take it, and they gonna fax it to their corporate. They gonna fax it to their corporate office. Once they corporate office, they gonna agree with it. So we gonna come up with some kind of deal by them knowing them. All right, that means they know. The nonprofit has got a gateway now, so they need to start building up products to donate inside the store. Because the top of the store already don't agree we're gonna donate. So expiration dates that get closed, all your stuff that get bent up, all the stuff they be finna pull off the shelf that don't get sold. All right, I'm gonna get them a app information, log in. This number is gonna be the number that linked to the store itself. When they get ready to donate to nonprofit, they're gonna call that number right there, and that when they gonna answer, they gonna have access to the whole thing. They go get it, and they do what they want to do with it. Because I just know that the more we spread it around like this, more elders got houses than young folks. You know what I'm saying? I know that they're gonna get around like that. You know what I'm saying? Like we hold it up to a little bit and we do events. Like sometimes we be behind popcorn. We do popcorn events. You just gotta be willing to like target, like to really target, you know what I'm saying, different aspects. It ain't always no giant thing, but we gonna get them connection. This the stuff that is going to them. I just asked the person who's working inside that store, give them 20% of it to make them want to play the game fair. I shouldn't get involved until it ain't working right.
Right.
Yeah, I shouldn't really get involved to it. I shouldn't get involved to the system ain't working no more.
Right.
I'm just here for the paperwork. I'm just here. I got paperwork. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I might ask, hey, look, man, let's find us a curve to get out here on with it. You know what I'm saying? And cause like I'm creating a tennis shoe event. Everybody with old tennis shoes, just donate your old tennis shoes. And I got a company that they gonna take all the old tennis shoes and give us a check for it.
Well, right.
All right, hold on. This is one thing I want to run by everybody to aware. This awareness. All right, top fundraiser ideas. This is how you make money. This is how you build trust. This is how you don't go in there each other's pocket. This is how you build for. We can save for the brother that gotta make sure they can talk to us on the phone. The older ladies that willing to help us in the community. The people that just need some help. You know what I'm saying? So time is an issue. And at the end, I'll show you how you like I showed him. He didn't know e-commerce exists inside of nonprofit. Right? Mm-hmm. See, e-commerce is a part of nonprofit because how you started it. You had to get that money from somewhere. So our top ideas are professional fundraising collection. All right, Google ad grants. Google ad grants. If you got a nonprofit, Google ad automatically give you $10,000. That's their donation to nonprofits right now. Microsoft 365. If you go to school, you get it for free. And the reason I'm talking about these two entities is because in order to sell products and promote businesses, you got to have ads on Google, and it's best to promote it on Google. I know everybody accustomed to platforms like Facebook, but Google Ad may touch all them platforms. All right, my number 3 is gourmet popcorn fundraiser. Gourmet popcorn. Just popcorn. Yes, sir. You go out and buy popcorn, cook them, sell them for $2 a bag. It's a fundraiser. You make 80% of the profit. That's why I take a board for everybody to always be willing to sit down and occupy each other's space. All right. Then the shoe drive, like I was telling you, we partner with funds to orgs.com. Who? Funds to org. It's funds to FUNDS, the number 2. .org, OSG. To make your shoe drive fundraiser happen, they send a check based on how much the shoe weigh. Or how much they weigh. That's the key to it. That's how they pay, how much the shoes weigh. All right. Number 5, cookie dough fundraiser. Make 80% profit when operating the cookie dough fundraiser. You take raise money amongst the organization, and then you take that money and you donate, you invest it into a fundraiser, and you produce the money like this. And like we do, we structure LLC a part of our nonprofit so that checks can get cut throughout the year. They get cut quarterly, but they get cut throughout the year. All right. Number 6 is tree planting day.
Tree planting day.
Tree planting day. We buy seeds, and we go to the city and we find places to plant trees. And so we just do a tree planting event. So this helps our environment. That's a part of one of the structures of Next Gen and Beyond. And then number 8 is this. A lot of us have things that might have a signature on it or something like that, and you can always auction that type of stuff out. That it might have a value. We might have maybe gave it a value early on in life, but it might not have the same value. But you just take it. It's just about running an auction. And then online shopping fundraisers. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the. That's a software though. I want everybody to know that like we use software with a lot of different things. Like even online fundraising. We actually raise funds to actually create the whole nonprofit.
Okay, you said online what?
Online fundraising. The name of the is ShopRite Raise.
ShopRite.
ShopRaise.
ShopRaise.
Yeah, is a software. All right, dog washing. I know we don't really look at it, but with dog washing, all we have to do is buy shampoo and have water. And we watch dogs, you know what I'm saying, for a contribution. And you know what I'm saying, it makes it get these it's so many because it get everybody a chance to, you know what I'm saying, to start working the department inside of the nonprofit. That's why everybody should have their own lane. All right, and then you have Text to Give. And all this is we build an email list and we email people. You know what I'm saying? It's a text to give. Then we create these text lists. I know some of y'all get tired of people calling y'all phone, texting y'all phone, but my company actually are part of that. Then we have a direct mail campaign. And the thing about the direct mail campaign is you do it by housing tax bracket. You know what I'm saying? So you balance it out like that, get public record, and create these flyers and just, you know what I'm saying, mail. Like last year we mailed 300 letters last year. But we have a housing thing that we do also. So, you know what I'm saying, it's a lot of like, you know what I'm saying, ride for get the addresses and we ship them out to one of my buddies out in Texas. And he go through it, write letters, you know what I'm saying, and see if somebody wants to sell a property and the property meets, they come with a proposition, a term. That's the legal word is term. And sometimes we just take what term somebody imposed on us. I host a fundraising dinner. That's a good one. And then my favorite, a balloon popping fundraiser. Where we pop balloon. And then this one will work good anywhere. Pancake breakfast fundraiser. You get up early in the morning on hot cone. And you know what I'm saying, you sit up there with the waffle makers. And it don't take much, just making pancakes. And we keep the pancakes in the flow, and it's actually a fundraiser. So we always sell the food or do your fundraiser in affordable method, half of what it costs us. It's a kind of how we got the food. And we had to purchase the food, yeah, we had to conduct it in a bit. All right, and then one of the ones I like, postcard fundraiser. Well, all we do is make these pretty fundraisers. Look, I like kids to do them, so they have creativity. Right. So we mail them to all the same mail lists that we build up. We mail it all the same. We back again at their doorsteps with a postcard. Right. So you utilize everything. Then the advocacy campaign, that's raising awareness, and money go hand in hand. See, raising awareness go hand in hand. Like one of my most important focuses right now is depression. And the reason I'm focused on depression like that is because for us to strengthen and collect other people, we suffer from a lot of depression and a lot of stress.
Right.
So it's something that we just been taught not to address. So this is one of the things that I have been just facing with myself and others, and watching people suffer from it. Because some of us don't know when someone's suffering from depression, we don't know how to deal with or help that person. Because depression is real. And a lot of us don't understand or know that we have it or don't want to face it. So depression is one of our main advocates for people just to face it. And you know what I'm saying, if you need help with depression, your help ain't got to be at no psychiatry. Your help could be just really sitting down with someone discussing the real issue. That's
Right.
that'd be the real person. So depression and suicide is at an all-time high. So yeah. So we're focusing on depression, and this is be a part of the walkathons also with the depression, so we can speak out about depression and stress, and also about suicide, because inside of the Blacks and other neighborhood, it had grown tremendously in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And creating a custom website and domain. All right. That's a lot of work, but it's a con. It's a big write-off though. It's a con, but there's a lot of work to create a, you know what I'm saying, website. So I wrote it down now.
Right.
Somebody might can pick it up, but just collected us communicating from the beginning. From the beginning, communication is the most important thing. Like the guy with the beard, you know what I'm saying, you know, I would most definitely have to come down there. We have to sit down, have a few dinner meetings of some of that nature there to get some understanding, get with Mr. T.Y.
Right.
They make it come together. You know what I'm saying? We'll have to always make sure we advocate things to make it come together. But
Right.
that's a great idea, because I already had an operation to operate stove, and right now I go to this food bank every Wednesday, and I think I got about 7 more Wednesdays before I got about 7 more Wednesdays before I actually complete the program. So that's one of the most things, being able to serve food, because we can spice it up to our neighborhood. So we got to keep that in each other. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep that. We got to make sure we focus on that right there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because things die because we lose focus. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
one of the main things is writing a business plan up on it. To make it really have a business plan, it have to be rolled up.
Say it this way.
But to make it really have a business plan, it have to be written up.
Right.
That'll just make it. That just make it work.
That's the basic.
That's just you know what I'm saying? One thing now. One thing about a business plan is this: a business plan is your interior brand. Like Next Gen and Beyond, that's just a brand that we been campaigning. It's a brand, and the mission statement.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what a mission statement was.
Right.
For a long time, until I was faced with having to pay $4,000 to learn what a mission statement was. And for them to just go tell me to go look at Walmart, and they say for your everyday need.
Mm-hmm.
Now I gotta remember, you sleep better for everyday low price.
Mm-hmm.
It's on side of Walmart. On side of Amazon, they mission statement on their trucks. And more than Prime. So I got to read. You know what I'm saying? Cause I want to know that I've been involved in this. The company was formed in 4/21/2021. Remember, I told you during the pandemic. And the main ingredient of the company, and most companies that we involved with, we service that fit the budget of people need. That's what our LLC is based on, the budget of people need. That's how we grow into the LLC, because we start running into way more needs. So Next Gen and Beyond is, we're extending our hand out, you know what I'm saying, asking for assistance and other things to help others, and also get assistance also, because it's hard to find board members.
Yeah. To
actually have a board member that you don't pull from all over the globe. That it, like my member that's in Texas, he has Texas mentality.
Of course. Right.
My co-partner that's in California, he from Cartier, but he working a hospital, a giant hospital that we're studying. They hospitals don't go outside to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they hospitals don't go outside to do nothing.
Damn.
Wow.
They don't have to buy nothing.
Everything in the hospital.
And it's a 501c3. It's a
Wow.
non-profit. So we studying that, and we studying Black Wall Street. That's why you see I be posting
Okay.
pictures from Black Wall Street. It's a bunch of businesses up on there.
Shit. You see what happened to him?
Yeah, see.
Yeah, damn plan tore them down.
Nah, I'm talking about.
government too.
Oh, nah. See. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about the new.
Yeah, I'm talking about the real black
Oh,
man.
oh, somebody rich.
Oh, you talking about the Tulsa?
Every time black community come up, the white people get jealous and burn it down.
Well, in commercial law that was.
Or they flood it.
Nah, I'm gonna be technical about that. In commercial law that were created that we don't understand. In 1865, when they abolished slavery, they didn't write the 14th and 15th Amendment until 1868. I noticed that you have to use the 14th Amendment in any kind of law process. For them 3 years, you think the government just ain't do nothing?
Man, they had the U.S. Army down south, and it was a story I was told that they had the slaves, well, supposedly ex-slaves, encamped in this certain area where they would not let them leave, and they basically starved them to death.
Well,
that was the Union Army, not the Confederate Army.
so you got
They killed like 15,000 blacks.
You got to think in 1850, right now we just figuring out that it was months, which is June 10th.
Right.
Juneteenth.
So you got to think this right here. When that law was wrote, if you committed a crime that you didn't know was a crime, if you commit that crime, guess what? You can be placed somewhere and treated as a slave. See, that's what the 13th Amendment also possesses too. That's why when you're in jail, you can work for free.
Right.
That's part of the 13th Amendment. But in order to be free out of the court system, you got to use the 14th Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think between them 3 years, they wrote a lot of amendments.
Mm-hmm.
So they wrote that black code. That means they wrote black code. They wrote sundown code. That means you can come work in the daytime, but you got to be out of the time by dark. You know what I'm saying? These were law. You know what I'm saying? These were federal law.
Yeah.
So you got to think like right
Married
now.
a white woman.
But you got to think they wasn't even they wasn't a part of the writing period.
Right.
They still wasn't a part of the writing. They didn't get a part of the writing till the 19th Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't get a part of the right till the women came together. You know what I'm saying? Women ain't had nothing. They free. They abolished the 6th Amendment back down is 13, and they abolished the black man. They didn't even allow the white woman to have any say so by constitutional law. You know what I'm saying? So you got they know they were gonna intertwine with us. But number one, I got to say that number one is language. If you think language is one thing, it'll be another. And most of us think we speak English. The people in England speak English.
We speak broken English.
No, we don't speak English, period. We speak what is called American literature. Mm-hmm. And American literature is a diversity of language. That's why we can make words like moo, cock-a-doodle-doo, bling, bling. That's why it's a word added into our dictionary every day. Because we speak a language that is Latin and Greek emerge. That's what makes American literature. So the law is not written under the same pretense. In law, it's strictly written in Latin.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go in a courtroom, you say, I understand. That means you say you're going beneath the judicial circle. So words are very important when it comes to a lot of the things that.
But the system and structure is what you said earlier, but Mediterranean.
Yes, it wrote on maritime jurisdiction because the Moors got a friendship with them. You got to ask yourself, the literature that I have read in the 1500s, see, they were writing the truth. So I read a lot of old literature where they was in 1500, 1600, they say the world was flat. Yeah. All right, how did they get over here? And How did they have the 1619 program, which is a program most people don't know they have, and this is what is known now today is what was created chattel slavery. All right, we think they picked niggas up, excuse my language, from Africa, or they was already over here, indigenous. All right, but the only thing you could have picked up out of Africa at that day and time had been doctor, lawyer, and architect. For 64 years, there's no history. And all of a sudden, you have niggers in America. Matter of fact, they didn't know what the name is. They still don't know what the name is. After 1978, they just took it off birth certificate. And actually, you just owning up to it. As long as we keep owning up to it, hey, why not? Why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not? So they know that if you don't go in this right here and dig inside of this right here, see, because documents can be falsified.
Yeah.
So you got to realize that a lot of your documents that was being stood on, I could like me, I argue that, man, my mom signed that. I ain't signed that. Nah, she ain't have no know-how. She come from a slave descendant. So you gotta know when to be. She came from 3/5 of people. No, she didn't.
That's what they said. Dred Scott.
But it's clear. Why would a woman that just had a baby be willing to sign a document? She should be nursed to health, or somebody else need to help make that decision. Now, in other circumstances, somebody else help make that decision.
Now, with that said, we touching up on something real nice. I want to make sure I get this edited. Repeat that one more time.
About the
birth.
The birth.
Decision making.
I'm gonna say is UCC code, maritime jurisdiction, it's called birthright. And in these code, the birthright means that the person that has had you, they have possession of you and they have the ability to sign documents for you. So when you're born, they want a document from you, from your mother, then, which is called a birth certificate. And that birth certificate is an account. The Social Security card, Social Security number is an account. And those accounts are very important. When you was born, when your mother had you, they created a straw man of you that day that possesses all capital letters. Normally I don't talk about this, but they possess all capital letters.
Right.
Those capital letters turn you into an entity. So once you have an entity, so now all it takes is a little time for documents to get signed with that entity name on it. And for the person to say, that's my baby, or take responsibility, like we have took responsibility on names. So the main objective of this is to understand the culture of the people that we came from. Because we like to argue about the stipulation of the people that we come from, but in actuality, when you boil it down, there's no people that look like Indians that Christopher Columbus said was Indian, because the people of Indian look like black people. And when you take the root word or the origin of Indian, we use the origin more than the word. And the origin of the word Indian is Indi. And we know that indigo people have been all over the planet, not no Pacific planet. So a part of the building of the corporation of the United States was a part of corporizing, you know what I'm saying, everybody that wasn't a white male. So, so just like I had said earlier about the 14th Amendment, when they came back with the 14th Amendment in 1868, the 14th Amendment made everything attached. So, house deeds, commercial property, and birth certificates. Some of the races of people birth certificate always end up in the same location as commercial property or house deeds. That means they are on property. And so we're waking up now. We have more social media. We have more platforms now, and we can communicate a little more better. And a lot of this stuff
Get
is
to more knowledge.
a lot of this stuff is basic reading and understanding, and want to understand that we can build the platforms that we want now. We can build the things that we want now. Like most people don't like Donald Trump, but Donald Trump's a pretty smooth guy because he turned Donald Trump into the name Donald Trump is a LLC. And when you turn your name into an LLC, that's an entity. If business is being done by a name, that is a company entity. And the entity, and when you have an entity pretty much can't get handled in criminal court. There's only two courts in the United States, criminal court and civil court. And most times an entity is gonna be handled in civil court because you can't lock an entity up. You can only sue it. And the way the business model is wrote is that you separate yourself from your entity, so you only can sue the entity.
Right.
So most of these tax documents just separate my life from the business, which I don't have a life anymore because I don't think we should live that type of life. I think we should be an entity because we were born in a bad situation. So So when our kids born, we should aware them that, hey, I'm gonna go on and make you an entity. We're gonna not use that name. We're gonna turn that into a company name. It don't matter what the name is, just as long as it got some additions at the end.
And we the people demand equal justice, man. And we are here standing firm in our division. And we are definitely moving forward here in 223 and 224. So with that said and done, family, we are going to sign off. And I just want to make sure Mr. Smith's name get seen and get heard. And that is my little young brother, man. He definitely fighting his case, and we're going to stand firm with him, man. And with that said, Mr. Hawkins, I want to shake your hand for coming
Next
through
gen and beyond. The next level.
And Mr. William, like always, it's a pleasure, family. So with that said, family, we out.
All right, now I got some personal questions.
Hold on, cut all these guys. Oh man, we rolled long down now.
Yeah. Now, how do I get these two things? A trust account and a will.